Hey team, welcome to this short video on how to make a word cloud using a website by the name of Word Art. I typically share this web link located right up here with my students via Google Classroom. So if that's what I have done, go ahead and click on that web link and you will come here. There are two green buttons on the screen. Either one of them will do exactly the same thing. They'll take you to exactly the same website. When you click on that button, you're going to land at a place that looks exactly like this, unless it's gone through some upgrades and then it looks different. Right here it says words, then it says shapes, fonts, layout, and style. I'm going to briefly talk about each of these characteristics, and then up here is where you have the visualize button, and then it will take all of your hard work that you have done over here and then create a magnificent work of art for you. I have some samples along the top right here that I'll show you. All of the projects that I worked on in today's sample are related to Mother's Day. So I took characteristics that describe mom and typed them over here and then found a graphic that I thought worked well and then blended those together to create projects that specifically describe mom. I don't see why these characteristics couldn't describe dad or an aunt or a grandmother or a teacher, but I introduced it to the students as a Mother's Day project. And then here's another sample and another sample and another sample, and here's yet another sample. So I'll get to all the different styles that you can choose from in just a little while. Let's go ahead and start with inputting the words into the project. Right here where it says word, so right here it says word, I'm going to click at the very end of that word, and then I'm going to use backspace to get rid of those letters. Maybe mom is polite, kind. And then in order to get from up here down here, I just pressed enter on the keyboard and then it jumped down to the next line. And then to jump down to the next line, you can either press arrow down or enter. Maybe mom is wonderful. Maybe she is beautiful. Maybe she's tender-hearted and compassionate. She has a bold, vivid, courageous personality. Hopefully you come with ideas or you can brainstorm with your neighbor. So let's pretend that I have spelled the word courage incorrectly. I did this on purpose. You'll notice how this red wiggly line has appeared underneath of the word after I paused just a little bit. Using your mouse or your trackpad, my recommendation is to stay on top of this word and then right click one time. And then usually Google is kind enough to show you some alternatives. It's not always right, but if the suggestion that pops up is correct, go ahead and click one time and then it will replace your misspelled word with the correct word. For the sake of time, I'm going to move down to shapes. If your teacher has told you that you need a minimum of 13 words for your word cloud, lean into your teacher's leadership to figure out what he or she has asked you to do. In today's lesson, I'm not going to come over here to size, color, angle, and font, but that is something that some of my older kids can practice with if you would like to. Importing is another option, but that's not a part of my lesson. Right here it says shapes. I'm going to click shapes one time. You have a series of shapes that are broken into categories over here on the left. You can also search by filter. The filter isn't always perfect because not every noun or adjective alternative for every graphic has been associated with it. So if you look for a dancer, it may not come up with all of the dancers. If you type flower, it might not come up with all the flowers. So don't be discouraged if you type something in here and it's not here, but oh, after further investigation, you did find something over here. So click on a category that works for you based on whatever type of infographic your teacher has asked you to do. Once you have found exactly the one that works for the design and style that you're working with, go ahead and click on that graphic or that image one time. You might be confused. You might think, oh, why is it not popping up over here? We're going to get to that in a little while. The red visualize button is what will pop your artwork over here. Fonts represent the style or the shape or the design of the letters. You have several font styles to choose from. Come through, find a style that you think might be perfect for your project, then click layout. It's up to your teacher if you have time for this one. If you're short on time, this would be something that you could skip. Quite frankly, you can just leave it. It's usually perfect the way that it is. If you slide it down too far, you're only going to have a few words. Um, it's up to you if you feel that this is important. Likewise, if you want to define the word amount, then this is a strategy that you could use. Style is down here. I'll talk to you about this in just a second. I'm going to click the visualize button. It'll take maybe 25 seconds, and then my graphic will appear on the screen. Now, it's kind of clumsy because I tweaked some of the layout options and I only have 24 words in total. If I scoot it up to 382 and then click visualize all over again, then you will see how those words have filled the shape in differently. Quite frankly, you really don't need to adjust this at all. You're more than welcome to just leave it at auto. For the most part, I think that Word Cloud does a great job of figuring out how many words should be in your shape based on the words that you have typed into the original project. So you'll notice when I took it back to auto, 800 is the number of words that they felt was necessary to fill in this project well. I'm going to go back to shapes and I'm going to show you something up in shapes, and then I'm also going to come back to style and show you something over there. On some of the graphics, there is a green little gear that shows up on the bottom. If the project has that, you can actually change the colors in your project. So if you feel like, ooh, I want blue fire instead of the standard color of fire, then you can come in here. You can change these individual colors in the overall scheme of your project. Reset would take you back to the original color design. And then if you choose something else, then you would click the OK button. Don't be concerned if it doesn't magically appear on the screen. You always need to click visualize anytime you make significant adjustments to your project. Otherwise, those will not appear. If you are working on this project and you realize, oh no, there's a typo, or maybe you want to add another word, you're more than welcome to come back here and adjust any of those errors or modify that information, then click visualize. You don't have to start over at the beginning. For the next one, I'm going to choose this one because I feel like using that specific sample helps you see what style does. For style, sometimes when you override the colors, your audience isn't able to depict what's going on. So there's a sun, you've got ocean, you've got sky. When you come to style and you choose custom colors are great for some of the projects. It's magnificent. You can come through here and you can choose. However, some of the original designs need their original colors in order for those projects to work out well. If you choose custom and you choose to adjust any of the colors, step number 1 is moving the white circle. Step number 2 is moving the black circle. As you move those, the color you have selected will appear here. Choose the green button in order for the selected color to appear down here. And then it says on the screen, click on a color to remove it. So if you want to remove any of the existing colors, and then you want to come through here and add specific colors to your project that were not originally there, then this is the strategy that you would use. Click close, and then all of those colors will appear on your project. In order to download your project, my recommendation is that you come right up here to where it says word art. My suggestion is that you remove those words. After removing those words, type your name in this space. After you've had a chance to type your name in this space, my recommendation is download, followed by standard JPEG. If this does not work, then just bump up one spot and save it as a PNG file instead. Team, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.